Consulting's webinar series for our Michell University. Today we're going to be working with Infor FACTS, and we're going to be talking about the work centers in relationship management. The relationship management work centers allow the user to capture every aspect and touch the customers and prospects to see all the detailed chronological history. The relationship management work centers are native tools designed to focus and manage the various activities related to the sales opportunity, the pipeline analysis, credit collections, quote management, and user-defined customer profiles. Let's take a look at that, and today we're going to go over that briefly and see how we set that up. So from our FACTS main menu, we're going to go into relationship management, and we're going to go into the work centers. And here we have some work centers. Let's just take a look at a couple of them that we have. For example, we have the Opportunity Manager. And you can see here what I'm looking at is my sales opportunities, and I'm viewing it by salesperson ID. So here I can collapse and expand, so I can see Ronald, and I can see here the customers he has. So obviously when I click on here, you can see here I have some information. When I click here, you can see information related to ACE Chemical, and I can also expand. And if I look here, so here's all the way down to a prospect who's shown interest. So what I'm doing basically is I'm looking at all the history and all the opportunity on this work center. And we can do some filtering and contact and so on. But before we get into this, let's actually look at how we set these up and how we build these. So here we're going to go in and we're going to go to our file maintenance, relationship management, and our infrequent file maintenance. And you can see here we have the work center set up. So here we can do some things. We can again look at the work center metadata, file maintenance, and you can see where the information is coming from. For example, let's do a search. So we saw here the opportunity, and you can see here what we're doing, the initial field, okay, and so on. So we have all these entries here. You can see how we're coming from the AR customer, and we're pulling this information. So to get the information here, we're pulling it from these files, these file names, and within these file names, we're pulling this information in the keys. You can see how we have our entry set up. And again, this comes predefined. Now, most of our clients just go ahead and use what we have here. But again, we're seeing where the information is coming from. You can see for new records, when we edit a record, and so on. We can look at the RM contact. And again, we are coming from the RM contacts here. Again, we're looking at the customers. There's just no vendors, because these are opportunities, any documents, any modifications. If we scroll through here, for example, you can see this one's related to a purchase order. So yes, because of that, we're dealing with our vendors. This is where we're getting the vendor information from. You'll see in this case, there's no customer. Yeah, these come preset. We can actually set these up. We have for our query setup. Again, we can identify the queries that we're using and the opportunities to trigger the information, and you can see where the information is coming from. So the city, the source, the files, and so on. You can see the work center actions file maintenance. And so here we can say, like, for example, let's talk about a change order. And again, here's the default memo information that's going to come up with the information on the screens. We're going to look at the details. Again, where it's coming from, you can see here. And then the history. Again, this is all set up, and most of our clients use what is actually here. You can't define these. You can't import these, but they typically just go ahead and use what's set up. You can refresh and rebuild the work centers if there's an issue. You can look at the dashboards, and you can look at the work center chart settings. Information here. And again, you can look here where this is coming from. Okay, here's where we're picking our colors, and here's where we're picking all our information. So that is in the file maintenance. If we look in file maintenance, under infrequent file maintenance, we have the work center set up. Let's go take a look at some of the work centers now. Here we're going to look, for example, for opportunity manager, looking at sales opportunities. So you can see here we're viewing by our salesperson ID. We can change our views. You can view by stage, and these stages are coming from the setup of the contacts. We can also do it by company. So here we're looking at our companies. So this information is feeding from the assistant. Remember, from our contacts and so on, we're bringing all this information in. So you can see here that this one was a win with a close date. We can, again, any of these levels we want to do within here. And again, this information is coming from our contacts. If you see here, we have our contacts. So again, like for example, certain information, like let's say this one here. We can see here where we are in the process, and this helps us get our information. Let's just go out of this, go back in, go opportunity management. So again, we can collapse, we can expand, so we can just go through. You can see here we did an expansion of everything. So we're looking at the entire thing we can look at. We can actually go in and a little bit bigger. You can also, so here what we're doing is we're viewing everything here. We can go back to collapse mode, so we can decide to do one at a time. And again, so we can view by our different information. We can also do some maintenance. We can create an opportunity if we wanted to go through here. Okay, this is going to be a new opportunity that we can work with, find the next opportunity that we're working with. And you can see here's the links. So here we're going to create the next opportunity. We're going to put a customer. I'm going to put some information here. And we can put a projected amount. Let's say we're going to put 100,000. Projected close date. The probability, let's just put it at 85%. And here's our process and stages, so we can see where we are in the process. Let's say this is new business. We are at the, let's say we're here at the prospect stage. Our first meeting. We had our first meeting, we set all this up. Again, we can get the primary contact from this person, or we can add, so we can just go here. Let's take Julie. She's the main contact. And again, you can put the information here. Again, the lead source and all this information. The win-loss, again, we can keep track of the win-loss, where we are. This is right now open if it's win-loss. We have our win and loss reasons that we can set up, as well as our competitors and other user-defined fields. Okay, so let's just save that. Missing some information here. I want to put my salesperson. Well, let's going to give that to Sally. Okay, so now we go to Sally. See the information here. Let's just do a refresh. And we can go down here and on Sally. And again, we can do our information. Let's do our filter views, and we can actually create filter views and see what we want to see as far as the lead source and so on. We can apply these filters for purposes of looking at the system. So let's see. If I put that one. Push the data here. Here we go. And we can see here now we have Southeast the industrial supply. We can see that what we have here is the demo. It is our number 67. There it is. And there's the prospect has shown interest. So what we've done is we've actually created this under opportunity. We've actually gone in and created ourselves an opportunity. So again, this is a very nice functionality about this. Again, it's kind of like a 360, what allows us to view and touch our clients in different ways by sending out information and so on. We can also do exporting. If we want, we can export this into a flat file or an Excel file and bring the information out. Like you said here, we can do our filters. You can also go here. Again, if you want to create that opportunity, you can create the opportunity here. As we saw right here. And again, we're looking at all the information about this. This one right now has no value. So what we can do is we can link documents to this. Yeah, we can do our filters, how we want to filter the information. We can have multiple filters down here. Once we apply those, again, we would get some filtering data within the system. So let's recap what we've gone through. We've talked about relationship management, and we've talked about the work centers. Within here, we can see our preset work centers like opportunity managers, the quote manager, again, the vendor profiles, and so on. These are preset, what we can create. This allows us kind of a one-touch area. We can look at everything. And again, we can set these up in our file maintenance. If we go to file maintenance and frequent file maintenance, and we go into the work center setup, here's all the information to define what we have. And from there, we can work. We go to work centers, like you saw under the opportunities. Again, we have this set up. We can view it in different ways. Right now, we're viewing by salesperson, as you can see. We can do it by company. Now we have that one we added, Southeast down here. Again, we can have some options if we want to configure the views and how we want to see them. Again, this is like standard facts, so we can see what's in the fields here. We're configuring how we see, so we see salesperson's name and the opportunity names across the bottom here. We can also refresh data. We can look at the preferences. Again, this is standard like you see in the fax inquiry window, so you can set this up. We can drill in. So, for example, here, if we look at Sally, we have these are the customers for Sally. This is the one that we just created, the demo. Here's the number 67. And there's the contact and where we are. Again, we can just create a contact through here. Again, we can assign it to a customer. Let's call this like that. We can give it a description if we want. Projected amount. Projected closing date, the probabilities, we can always add that. Here's the process. This is how we're getting the process. Here. So let's say this is credit collections. And we're going to pick our stage, pick our step. Our primary context, we're going to check the context for this customer, or we can add a new one. Let's just pick her. Again, this is the information coming over. And we're going to give this one also to Sally. Again, we can determine where we are, if it's win-loss, and again, all our reasons. We can always go into the contacts here. We can see the contact we can always add additional contacts for this. Maybe we need to speak to somebody else. So we're going to save it. I need a projected closing date. Let's say, and let's just put 50%. Say no. Got a little error there. That's because we have two on the same one. Let's just go out of here. But you can see the concept of how we create an opportunity. Here. And we have different ones, for example, credit collections. And we can see here how everything's set up, all our different customers, where we are. So again, for example, if we look at this customer here, and again, this is all the information coming over. So we have this set up. We can restrict access to our users. So if I'm in credit and collections, I can look at it this way. So that's the work centers that are in SAP, in FACTS. What they allow us to do is the work centers allow users to capture every touch they have with the customers and prospects, to see it all in a detailed chronological history. It works with the various relations and activities for sales opportunities, pipeline analysis, credit and collections, quote management, and also some user-defined information. So this concludes our webinar today. This webinar is being recorded. It will be available on our website. You can visit us at www.michellgroup.com to view this, as well as our other webinar training series. And we thank you for your time.